Hey boys and girls, Phil and I are back again to wrap up our discussion on bones. So we have talked about we have 206 bones, we've talked about the importance of bones, and we have talked about the bones that make up the arms and the legs. And today we are going to talk about the bones that make up our core. Okay, so our arms and our legs, those are called limbs. And then we have our core body, which is from our head down to our hips. It's that central area. So we've got a number of bones that we're going to talk about today. So here's Phil, and the first bone that he's going to talk about is this bone up here. We call it the skull, okay? But it's actually referred to as the cranium, your cranium. And the job of the cranium is to protect your brain. Very good, okay? So inside of your skull, behind your cranium, is your brain. And it's very hard, so it's protected pretty well. Okay, then we're going to turn Phil around, and we're going to notice that he's got bones that run from the base of his skull all the way down to his hips. Okay, these are actually individual bones. There are a lot of them, and these are called vertebrae. Our backbone is what we like to nickname it, which is really kind of misleading because it's lots of bones and not just one. Okay, so we have our vertebrae. Now, you can feel some of your vertebrae. If you feel right here, you can lean forward. You might be able to feel some, but where you're really going to be able to feel them is the back of your neck. So if you tilt your head forward, you can run your finger up towards your skull, and you can feel those bumps, and those are your cervical vertebrae. Those are the ones up here, okay? Now we're going to turn Phil back around, and we're going to talk about this bone right here in the center of his chest. Okay, this bone is like a shield. It's located right here in the center of your chest. Go ahead and feel that if you want to. Okay, this bone is called your sternum. Sternum. The job of your sternum is to protect your heart. Okay, so if we were to have organs on Phil here, his heart would be located right here behind the sternum. Okay, the sternum's job is to keep the heart safe. Now, next to the sternum, it actually attaches to the sternum in a couple of locations. You've got all of these bones right here. You might know what these are called. These are your ribs. Okay, your ribs are located in your chest, and they run all the way up here and down. Okay, you can feel the bottom of some of your ribs on your own body. Okay, feel a little bumpy right here on your chest. The job of your ribs is to protect your lungs. So you have two lungs, one on each side, and they fit inside this little cage. That's why we call it a rib cage. Okay, and your lungs, actually, as you breathe in, they expand like a balloon. And as you exhale, they deflate. And your ribs are protecting your lungs from being punctured, okay, because they're really gentle and really fragile. So that's why ribs are so important. And then the last core bone that we're going to talk about, boys and girls, is your hip bone. Okay, your hip bones right here, this is called your pelvis. Your pelvis, that was our word of the day today. Your pelvis is really important because it serves as an attachment point for your vertebrae. And also it's where your femur attaches to your upper body. Okay, there's a little joint there called a ball and socket joint, and that's what allows you to lift your leg up and down like this and rotate it all around. So our pelvis is an attachment point for the rest of our body, and it's your hip bones. Okay, so that is our deal with the bones today. Again, this was Phil, and here's a little bonus for you. His name is Phil Angies. Okay, Phil Angies. And I named him Phil Angies because the bones in your fingers and the bones in your toes are actually called phalanges. And so his name is Phil Angies. It's a little play on words. All right, boys and girls, Hope you enjoyed learning about bones. See ya!